Hello everyone, it's KB here today to make another YouTube video, and in today's video guys, I am going to be vlogging and filming me making my cats cat food. I know, so exciting. The most exciting thing you're ever gonna watch, but I thought maybe some of you guys would maybe like to watch it, and I'm gonna try to add in some tips and tricks and information. That way you guys kind of understand what I'm doing, the supplements I add in, all that, my process, because since my last video where I filmed me making it, I've changed quite a bit of things because I've learned a lot more about my cats and what they prefer, and also I've come up with more effective ways to make the food. So I think in total today I will be making about 15 pounds of a chicken and turkey mix. I also bought the cat's duck. It's like a full duck, and I probably won't film me doing that because personally I've never like bought a whole bird and like cut it up and done that. So I probably won't film that because I don't even know if I'm gonna get to it today. I'm gonna time this, see how long this whole process takes me. Again, I'm gonna add in tips, really be showing you guys things. But of course, if you want to feed your cats a raw diet, make sure you do tons of research and do your own research. Don't just watch this video and think that's all you need, because I am not an expert. I'm still very new to this. I've only been doing this for 3 months. So again, I'm just filming this to show you my journey, and maybe I can inspire some people to look more into it. I plan on making a video very soon about my cats and how they've transitioned to the food and how they're doing, different hiccups I've had along the way, weight loss, weight gain, etc. So I plan on doing a super in-depth video soon on how my cats are doing on a raw diet. So guys, let's get started. Disclaimer, this video is gonna include a ton of raw meat in it, aka bloody meat, meat. So if you're vegan or have a queasy stomach, this might not be best for you, but if you're here to learn about raw diets and just see how I do it, and maybe just you're curious about how I make my cat's food, keep on watching. But if you got a sensitive tummy, it's probably not gonna be good for you, because it's kind of gross, I'm gonna be honest. Kind of gross and kind of smells, but luckily you can't smell it, but I can smell it, so yeah. Okay guys, so here I am just showing you all the meat I got. I got 5 packages of chicken thighs with skin and bone, and then there's the duck. I don't make that in this video, so sorry if you wanted to see that. And then the ground turkey that I use, and I use this specific brand every time, and it seems to work well. And then next I'll be showing you the eggs, and I use my aunt and uncle's eggs they get from their chickens, and I like them a lot more than store-bought eggs. They're just nicer, in my opinion, than mass-produced ones. And then beef liver, and typically I would use chicken liver, but none of the stores I went to had it, so that was great. And then here are all my supplements that I'm going to be using in today's video. Some of them are optional, some of them you must have, like taurine, vitamin B, not L-lysine, but yeah, some of them you have to have. And then ahead of time, I always clean the kitchen. I always make sure it's nice and clean because I live with 2 men and they suck at organizing. That's just a fact. Shout out to my dad and brother. And basically they leave stuff on the counters, and I don't like getting meat and juices and all that on items on the counter because then it makes cleanup more difficult. And then I'm just setting up my grinder ahead of time. The ice cube trays are for what I'm gonna be putting the meat in, just preparation ahead of time, which is always a good thing to do. And then here I am setting up my grinder, which I got an electrical one. I don't have to use a manual one anymore. Definitely don't use a manual one. I cried one time making cat food because the manual one was such a pain in the ass. So yeah, always get an electrical one. And eventually I think I will get like a higher power one because this one doesn't handle bones too well, but it gets the job done as of right now. So definitely, if you're looking into getting a grinder, don't get this one. FelineNutrition.org has a really good grinder on there that you can get. My dad bought this one, so I didn't really have a say. Okay, and then I am going to be washing all of the chicken thighs and removing half of the skins from them. A lot of my cats were getting to a pretty good weight, so I decided to leave half of the skins on. Typically I would take them all off, but this time I left them on. And definitely next time I'm going to be removing the skins because some of my cats are starting to gain weight again, and I think that can be attributed to the skin being left on, which is kind of fattening, which is okay, but my cats still need to lose some weight, so there's that. And then I'm going to start removing the bone from the thighs. I always remove the bone ahead of time so I can figure out how much to remove, and also because my grinder, again, does not do well with bones, so I have to break them up ahead of time. And just for me, I feel more comfortable removing the bone so I can kind of feel what the bone feels like after being grinded up to make sure it's not too sharp or not splintered or anything. But that's just me. If you have a high-powered grinder, you should be able to just put the bones in no problem. But for me, it's a little bit more of a process, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but it's worth it for my cats, I guess. Okay guys, so now I'm just going to be weighing everything, and I like to weigh my bones and my meat and everything first to make sure my ratios are correct and to figure out how much supplements I need to be adding. So I'm using a baby scale for that because my kitchen scale didn't go up to like 20 pounds, and this is going to end up being a 20-pound batch of food. So I'm using my baby scale, which I typically use to weigh the guinea pigs and stuff, and I'm just going to clean it really good after. But yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so I made sure everything checked out proportion-wise. So basically the ratio I'm following is 84% meat, 6% bone, 10% liver or organ, and it basically does check out. There are some slight variances in it, but not enough to create like a huge difference, but this is like what I naturally have. And then after I plugged it into the Feline nutrition calculator, this is how much liver I need to add, or 28.5 OZ. So guys, basically now I'm going to get started on grinding up my thighs. So I'm going to also weigh out the liver real quick, and I like doing the liver as I'm doing the thighs because it's super soft, and it's kind of annoying to grind up the liver because it's such a soft tissue. It's kind of nasty, so I like to mix it in. And then because the turkey's already ground up, I'm going to mix it in with the chicken as I go to make sure it's evenly dispersed. And then the bones, my personal grinder is not the strongest. I have to break up the bones ahead of time to kind of get them a little bit smaller so it can handle it. It's my dog, sorry. So I'm gonna have to beat those with a mallet in the sink, and I always do that somewhat last. After I'm done grinding, then I do the bones because it annoys me and I hate doing it. I need to get a better grinder at some point, but I'm gonna have to wait a little bit because I just got this one. Well, my dad bought it for me. Thank you, Dad. It's super kind of him because previously I was doing it manually and that was miserable. Do not recommend. It took me like 4 hours to do one batch of like 5 pounds. It was fucking miserable, crazy, like no thank you. So, we're gonna get started on this. Okay, so basically I'm going to get started on grinding up all my chicken, and as I'm grinding up the chicken, I also put liver in at times just to start mixing it in, and as you can see when the liver comes through, it is a super soft tissue, so it just like liquefies. So I would definitely say try mixing in your liver either with like your actual meat or like your bones or something, just something so that the grinder doesn't have to try to grind up something so soft, because mine definitely does struggle sometimes with the liver being so soft. It kind of like doesn't really feel that it's there, and then it just kind of oozes, and it's not fun at all. So yeah, and then I'm just putting it in a bigger container as I go because this bowl is kind of small. So there is that. Also, just to put this out here, I am supplementing extra taurine to make up for the lack of chicken heart. Chicken heart's kind of a pain in the butt to find in my area, so I'm supplementing instead. Okay, so you guys saw I got everything grinded up except for the bone. Now I'm going to go and mix in the turkey in this. The reason why this isn't added yet is because I want to add in the turkey, mix it, and then add in this. And then mix in more turkey because I feel like it'll make it easier to get it all evenly dispersed. I forgot to do that. I should have added turkey a little bit sooner to this, but like I said, I forgot. So yeah, then after that we will get started on the bone, and I will probably have to separate this batch a little bit because it's so big. I'll probably have to put it in another container and then mix in my supplements and all that into this one, and then, you know, put in its ice cubes and then put the rest in because I just don't have a big enough pot to fit it all the time. So yeah, let's move over to the sink where I can mix this up with my hands and everything. Isn't this just like the most beautiful process? So like clean and pretty. So pretty. Just the most beautiful process. Okay, so here I'm just really cleaning up. I like to clean as I go because having meat everywhere kind of grosses me out. So as you can see, I'm using my hands and just mixing all the turkey in and really trying to mix it up and evenly disperse it because my cats really love the taste of the turkey. So making sure that that's in there is like really important to my cats at least. And then as you can see, literally the meat is overflowing out of this, so definitely need another container to put this in while I mix in supplements and the bone because I haven't even added in the bone yet. Okay, so I'm a little shook right now because I have never made this much before. I just realized that after I put the turkey in and was like, why is this pot overflowing? It's because there's 18 pounds there. So that's why. I've never made that big of an amount before, so that's great, which is fine. I wanted to make a larger amount, but I was just like, wow, this is a lot, and I still have to add in the bone. So we're gonna have to separate that before I even can add in the bone, so I'll have to like split it between two pots, then I'll mix in the bone, and then we'll proceed. But next I'm gonna be crushing up my bones, which I'm not gonna film this part because it's kind of violent. Literally, I'm taking like a sledgehammer to chicken bones and it gets super bloody and not cute, so I'm not gonna film it because it's just a little gory in my opinion, and it looks like a murder scene after I do it, so there's that. Yeah, so I'm gonna go do that and then I'll film me grinding them up in the grinder, which is a little less extreme. Okay, so here I am grinding up the bone, and also this is just some other tips I thought I'd recommend. I really recommend printing out the recipe you're going to be using. I personally have a printed out copy, and that has been like a lifesaver to me to refer to and make sure I'm adding the correct amount of supplements and adding the correct ratios. So definitely do that. Okay, so now I have the bone, here it is. Also, just to show you guys, it is not like a sharp consistency at all. It's pretty finely ground, like you can still feel like it is bone. It is a little bit harder, but it's not sharp. It's not like long, jagged pieces, because this was one thing I was concerned about with feeding a raw diet, was like, would the bones be too sharp? Could my cats choke on them? Etc., etc. But actually, it's a pretty like finely ground substance once you put it through the grinder, and if you have a nice grinder, you'll have different size options. So if you really want it to be nice and small, you will be able to put on like a grid or whatever, I don't know what the word is for it, but you'll be able to change the setting to make it a super small one. So I already separated the meat into two separate pots, and I'm actually going to put some more back in here because mixing my supplements into this one is going to be a little bit more difficult because it'll be filled quick because of how, how this one's less tall than this one. This one will contain the liquid easier that I will be adding. So I'm now going to add half of the bone to each of these. So I'm just going to grab it and basically put it in and basically try to evenly disperse it as best as possible between the two pots. I'm sure that's not super accurate, but it'll be fine. Okay. Now I'm just gonna mix my bone in now, just so that's done. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my supplements ready, and basically what I use for this is I'm using the Feline Nutrition Recipe Calculator. This is one you can find online. They also have their recipe online you can follow when first starting out. That's the one I've been following. So, that was my aunt that just texted me if you saw that. So basically I just entered in the amount of meat I had with bone, and then that is how I calculate everything. So I'm gonna get all of that out now, and yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so basically I'm gonna get started. First I added in my water, and then I added in all of my powdered substances. Typically I would do the yolks next, but I think I ended up needing like 14 yolks or something. It was like a huge number, and I didn't want to do it until the end, so I took my time working on the other stuff. And basically I just get them out, count them out, and stir them all in. I would definitely say, like, put your fish oil and your oils and stuff in the grinder ahead of time. Like, you can grind it in with your meat. That would make things easier in my opinion than having to cut it open and squeeze it out, especially with the fish oil, so there's that. And then yeah, I ended up using, I think, 15 egg yolks total, so it was just fantastic. I only ended up having one left in the 16 doesn't count, so there's that. Okay, now I'm just adding in all the supplements to my batch of meat and really like mixing it in all nice. I used to use gloves a lot, but it's just a waste to use gloves at this point, so I just do it with my bare hands and wash my hands. And here is the aftermath of my kitchen that I need to clean up. So it's a mess, just a huge mess, as you can tell. Okay, in the home stretch, I am now going to start putting the meat in ice cube trays. I put my other meat in here because I know I won't have enough ice cubes trays for right now. So we'll leave that in there, and hopefully by tomorrow they'll be frozen. I can put them in bags, and then I can do the other one because it should be good overnight in the fridge. And yeah, so let's get started and get this in the ice cubes. Okay, so I'm just putting them in the ice cube trays, and I personally really like this method because it does make it so that way you can get your portion size or your feeding size, your sizing out easily, because you can weigh how much the ice cube weighs, and then you can figure out how much your cat should be eating a day. So like, for example, my cat Sam should be eating 5 of these cubes a day. So it just makes things easier. And then I don't know if I ended up showing you guys, but once they're frozen, I will put them in freezer bags in the freezer, so I can clean these ice cube trays then. And here they all are in the freezer, and I'm gonna leave them overnight to freeze, and then tomorrow I will empty them and work on the other pot full of meat and portion it out. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed watching me make my cats cat food. So after they're frozen, like I said, I then put them in freezer bags and put them back in the freezer, and then as I need to feed my cats, I'll take a bag out, put it in the fridge to thaw, and feed them that. So yeah, there's that. I hope you enjoyed. In total, it took me 3 hours to make a 20-pound batch of cat food, and that lasted me about 2 weeks for my 6 cats. I know it doesn't last that long in my house. One thing I did learn the hard way is that my cats do not like beef liver. I made a 20-pound batch with beef liver in it. They hated it. So, to convince them to eat it, I had to top it with some goodies like wet food and stuff. So yeah, be aware of what your cats don't like and do like, which can be like a process in the beginning of switching to raw. I will admit, like, figuring out what my cats like has been a pain in the butt. Turkey is always a good start. That's one thing I've heard, and my cats love turkey. I'd never realized that until I started feeding raw turkey to them, and they love the raw turkey mixed with chicken. So I would say if you're looking to try different proteins other than chicken, try turkey. And beef seems to be hit or miss with a lot of cats. I was hoping my cats would like it, but they don't like it. So, note to self, Becca, only use chicken liver. Don't put any beef in it because your cats hate it. Learn that the hard way. So yeah, so basically where I'm gonna end this video is just with the cats eating, aka me trying to convince them to eat. So yeah, And like I said, I plan on filming a really in-depth video about my cats and their journey to raw and how I switch them and some of the struggles I've been dealing with and all the different things I've tried with them, just to like educate and I guess like just share my process. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe. If you didn't, then goodbye. And just to end this video, here is a video of me petting Cassie, my cat who's pretty shy, so I just wanted to include her cute little face and her letting me pet her. Love her. Anyways, guys, bye!